It's time to watch two of your favorite creators and pro players clash on one of those late game maps. We're heading into Gorge. We've got Team Liquid's Dumu going up against Beasty of no team. So, Jean Dark for Beasty and Dumu to the Chinese. Oh god, it already feels like a matchup that is made for late game, doesn't it? China just definitely a Civ that can come swinging out of the gates in a lot of matchups at the moment. We've seen that in particular from players like Anatan, but against Jean, probably not the case. If anyone's going to be aggressive here, I'd expect it to be Beasty. And I don't know if Beasty, like, we went through this reform stage of, like, Beasty is now an all-in aggro player. But in fairness, some of the games I saw in his Puppy Paw series, I also think, although he'll look to play aggro, he's just as willing to hunker down and play for that crazy late game. And against a player like Dumu, that almost may be a bit too incorrigible. Oh dear, oh dear. So, looking at the spawn as well, Pro Scouts could be on the menu. I think it's a little bit tough for Dumu. He's got split, but he's also got forward deer. We'll see if that actually comes back to bite him in the butt, because I think Dumu's the type of player that's probably going to lean towards rush Pro Scouts. Whereas some players do like to just go opening aggro. Anatan has been a pristine example of this at the moment, guys, where we see him actually just full-on device send it with a wave of archers or spearmen at the beginning. And wait, what's that? I have no idea if I should buy this game or not, since they said there won't be any more updates of AoE 3. Yeah, so like AoE 4 is kind of a no-brainer then. Age of Empires 4 is just the game that makes the most sense. Age of Empires 4 is a very accessible RTS compared to a lot of ones in the market. I'm not going to like fluff it up to be perfect. I don't think Age of Empires 4 is like the perfect beginner RTS. I don't think that exists. But it sounds like you're already on the RTS ladder, so it works out perfectly for you. And it's the latest edition, which means it's the most likely to be invested in to succeed, if you think about it. Age of Empires 2 is like the other one people say, and I've got a lot of love for both games. But for new player, I would never recommend AoE 2 over 4, because I think it's just so much harder to get into to try and scale to that point, right? Like, you're playing against people that have been playing for 10 plus years. And although some skills are transferable and you've got people who've been playing 10 plus years, such as Beasty and Dumu in AoE 4, they've only been able to play Age of Empires 4 specifically for a few years. Wheelbarrow? Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of players actually just lean into Wheelbarrow early on. It does, I was about to say, it does suggest you're not going to get Pro Scars, and I've been a really big fan of this. Jean returning to being on the map, French as well, just makes a lot of sense because it's one way you can deny Pro Scouts without getting sucker punched into it against a Civ that should, in theory, do Pro Scouts better than you. Because this is technically the best Civ in the game for Pro Scouts. Because no other Civ can get that tech in 30 seconds and have the economy to do so quickly. Jean, late game, is very, very underrated. Especially with the attack speed aura. I don't think she's underrated. It's just a little bit more awkward to get to the arbitrary comp these days. A lot more people, I think, have been leaning towards, like, Nightmass. And Jean de Blast, level 4 Jean, is also insanely expensive. The thing I would say is underrated with Jean is the use of her melee champions. The melee champions are actually really powerful, and they get slept on way too frequently. They are definitely expensive, but if you're on the late game and you've reduced your opponent to spears, it's just an insta-game winner. We had the best-selling DLC after best-selling DLC. Wait, was Knights of Crosses and Roses rated as the best-selling DLC? I think Knights of Cross and Roses done worse than the previous DLC, but that's because people had, I think, ill conceptions about what it was and what it wasn't. The content generation from the newest expansion, the Knights of Cross and Roses, was actually very good. They added a lot for what it was. It's just, I think when people hear the word variant, they kind of get disappointed, even if you're talking about insanely unique civs, right? Graphics AoE 4 look sick? Yes. The problem is, when you watch it in most places, you watch it like this. You may notice, if you watch our streams regularly, we watch it like this. I love that as well. I saw that on YouTube today from someone in the comments. They were like, they said something like, one tournament's casting, and they're like, oh, this tournament's like much better. I was like, oh, that's actually not that tournament. It's just the way that we cast these games from that tournament. I'm a really big fan of just zooming in as much as possible, wherever possible. And it's interesting because, like, if you compare my opinion on that with different games, I'm usually against it. I am a big fan of the idea of keeping the camera as consistent as possible, but I think the camera usage in AoE 4 is consistently kept too far out. It should by default be about this far out. It's very rare that you don't have enough screen width like to cover everything at that stage. And you just capture all the cool details. Like, really just look at the effort that went into these models. It's not a half-assed effort. And, like, this is very challenging as well, because, like, you can see it very clearly when you look at older RTSs. Even with newer ones, the polygon count, that's the amount of, like, you know, faces you can have on a model, is kept quite low. Like, you can actually see it on the horse back there. The back of that... Stop turning. Stop turning. The back of that horse right there, that's probably just one big block there. But what they've done is they've used texture mapping and something called bump maps. Bump maps is how you can make a flat terrain look like it's got depth. So where are we going with this? We do have the pro scouts, and it is spear spam plus archers. So we're on our way to a fight. Yeah. Like this, Dimu kind of has to if he wants to get the deer, right? Because it's forward spawning. I love that Beasty just wasted no time whatsoever in getting in position to stop gathering there. We are going to get him having to actually posture quite hard if he wants to secure this. And the importance for Beasty is just the amount of effort required for Dimu to secure deer, while Beasty is just casually getting it over here. Yeah, he's even watching for a pull to the west side. And what makes this rough is, like, Dimu, he already bought pro scouts. He already invested 450 resources. Look at his scout count. He's getting nothing. Like, the scout isn't even moving for the resources. He actually got very hard countered in this opening. And wait, is he going pro scouts delayed? I mean, he's adding in more scouts, so I'm a bit suspicious. I mean, if someone's going to bring out a really nice plate of food, and then you're not going to eat it, someone else is going to eat it. Nah, surely it's not. I think you could just play wide onto the deer and boars, but, like, technically, I guess if you get in there now, with a good timing, you waste your opponent's pro scout. But here we go. Dimu is now secured. Scout's following up. Spear arch count is good enough to make sure that BC can't take it from him. AoE 4 is similar to AoE 2 and 3, is way different, and I used to play AoE 3 like more than 6-7 years. I think 4 indoctrinates elements of each, especially with the new point of interest kind of being comparative to something from Age of Empires 3 or many other games past. Sacred Sites also is completely, I'd say, not an Age of Empires concept. Sacred Sites is actually a Company of Heroes concept. And that's fine, by the way. I don't know. Some people can be snooty about the views of, like, copying games. I think that's fine. Like, not copying, but stealing. I think the devs with AoE 4 done a good job of stealing ideas from other games to make Age of Empires 4 familiar, but also its own thing. And I think, like, then maybe in hindsight, that made it a bit rough on the opening because that created an environment where for, like, AoE 2 fans, you had simultaneously disappointed what their expectations were, which is just a graphics update, but also made it so similar that it made them feel like it was 2. I say so similar, it wasn't that similar. But anyway, Knights, good fight here right now from Beasty. Dimu postured defensively and is going to pay a price for it. Yeah, 6 Knights left alive. Just good micro there just to wipe out the Spearman. And a lot of XP gain as well. Archers aren't even targeting down the Maiden. No, so she's going to get in. And there's Cleaves charged up. Archers to clear the way. And that means that Dimu is going to take an expensive hit here. But he's not going to hang around for long. He's on his way towards the castle required resource gain. And he has got access to these deer still in a rush, which he's now doing. Emo for Beasty. He's out on the ball. Just going to keep massing Knights. This is always the thing with Jean and French, is there's less urgency for them to rush Age than others. And sorry, WebFramp, I think I missed that earlier in the game. Thank you very much for the sub, mate. And welcome back to the Swarm. Sorry, buddy. That was a crazy game. So I did miss it. Yeah, the meat grinder got weird at a weird time, huh? Okay, so who do I think is in control right now? I feel like right now Beasty's probably a little bit happy with how things have been going. Imperial Palace is also interesting. I've been noticing him more and more instead of the clock tower, even if your opponent has archers, and it's just the vision value. Not only does it allow you to dodge raids really quickly, it also allows you to then counter raid because you know exactly where all the economy is. That being said, I have seen plenty of games where this almost what feels like a gambit costs you dearly. Like, you know, you get in a position where you need clock tower STBs and you just don't have it. I think what players have been doing better recently, though, to offset that is just remembering that, like, the downside of clock tower STBs is you can't spam them out. So if that was meant to be your get out of jail free card, like, you had to be prepping for it, right? You can't just rush them out. God, I remember when you used to be able to. It was the most disgusting thing ever. John? Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, veteran archers slap pretty hard. Nice snipe there. Dumu gets rid of the XP threat. Keeps Beasty in check. He's now going to force him away. So I thought the Beasty was just going to keep scaling knights, try to maintain some map presence and age. But he thought he had a timing there, which is always a dangerous thing to think against China. China, like no other civ, can just shut the door on those timings with veterancy transitions. Just testing the button works. I think China shouldn't be able to build so fast. I think China overall probably has a little bit too much. They do a lot of things really well. They used to struggle because they just couldn't reach their greed point, but that's not been the case for a long time, I don't think. They're very cushy civ these days. Nice now with the dive out. They're still only feudal. I mean, they are absorbing a lot of shots here, which is allowing Beasty to get the archer lead. The problem is, Jean is kind of missing from the equation here. No, she's not participating in this fight. She just keeps getting taken out. He's eventually going to get him towards the age 3. Dumu, meanwhile, is now finding his way towards knights, which is a great play from this position, considering your opponent has, like, no heavy camp left over. So it just gives you the means to take the lead. And relics, finally on the menu. Yeah, he's been waiting patiently. I think this is the other thing we've seen players just in general get better at, is not rushing with too much urgency towards relics. You know, if you think back just a year ago even, people would have just opened up with monks almost immediately to try and get out. Maybe not against Jean, you like wait 1 minute, right? I think Dumu waited, what, 3 minutes here? Just understanding that it's much better to just find a way of beating the main army back before playing for the greed. Otherwise, what you're doing is akin to rolling dice. Only, like, you're rolling dice where almost every base is snake eyes, right? Because there's just so many archers and knights. You low-key think this game is already over. Well, hold the horses. Dumu doesn't have a farm transition yet. I don't think he has the type of economy to just end the game. Beasty's still in a weird position for sure because he's age 2. The boar's running low, so about to run out. He's still got the deer on the back, actually. Yeah, Dumu finally realized it. He started trying to take it away, but good read, Beasty. And this is kind of disgusting area, by the way. Look at the tree lines and the way that they wrap around the gold. You can secure gold and deer in this corner quite easily. Also a bit rough the way that Dumu is now kind of punting lances in. I think he's trying to get towards economy and sneak across in interesting ways, but like, that's the one way that your lancer mass is not going to win, right? Just getting found out by one. But it's kind of just the state of play when you have few lancers. You don't really want to use them for the main fight, necessarily. Is Beasty finally ready for an age up? He is about to get, there we go, level 3. And I wonder, is it going to be Jean's riders? Yes, makes a lot of sense. This is sick, actually. Jean's riders is kind of your saving grace now if you have to engage. You've got this 8 ranged armor on these units, which means Archer Fire just doesn't kill them very fast at all. They also get bonus damage against crossbows that Dumu's now switching. So that little detail might be enough to just threaten, keep him in the base while he now attacks. Why does BC have 8 less eco? So it was worker kill plus Jean plus 4. So there is a bit of an oopsie here. It looks like Beasty may have skipped on villager production slightly. Yeah, because there's an 8 gap. There should only be a 6 gap. So good eyes on that. Beasty needs to tech up ASAP. Lancer lead now with Dimmu. I wonder if he senses just how far ahead he now is. Like, because he's seeing the night count, right? And this should be what, Guildhall? Royal Institute. I get the idea, but can you hold for a minute? 30. I guess it's difficult now with the TCs. That'll be enough to protect him. And Beasty just resisting the temptation to greed, though. Royal Institute is going to give him a big buffer point to fight in Castle. I think the convincing factor is he saw the Lancer count, and he was like, this doesn't feel good. Like, I'm going to lose because of heavy cav. It's going to be tricky to get towards those techs. It's not just the wait time, it's the gold required. He has at least stockpiled what he need to queue up the bloodline straight away. And props to him for doing it so far away from the base. It's pretty late early GG from... okay. I mean, I wouldn't call this GG yet. Dimmu's definitely ahead, but it's not like he was able to end the game there. Like, actually, Beasty done a really good job of minimizing losses while being an age behind and having to retreat like that. That could be big, though. Nice timing. Beasty does get away. Moves across to the deer in the corner. We do not have a farm transition yet. Instead, Dimmu's on the berries. So both of them are going to actually reach the requirement for farms around the same time at this rate. Then again, actually, he did just get the Barbican. Yeah, so he's only now munching his boar. But, like, on the other side, remember, deer's only now being gathered. Beasty lose 4 relics? You say it as if they were his to begin with. I think it would be entitled in this game to say those relics belong to you when you spend several more minutes in Age 2. So Dimmu's good on gold. He could actually just start, like, selling across into food to just push out more units if he chooses. Imperial would feel a bit crazy here. Sacred Sight's now locked in. I mean, it's not a win condition, it's more the gold. Which, I guess in its weird way, is its own win condition. He might go Yuan and die. Ooh. He has got 4 relics. I'd say temptation has to be, like, pretty high there, right? With 4 relics? Who wouldn't? It's like the big shiny bauble you can't resist. Beasty still has 4 more relics than... Dimmu still has 4 more relics from Beasty. That's true. But Beasty also has 1 more Jean than Dimmu, so checkmate. Joke's on you. You chose to choose a battle saying obvious things. And I'm a caster, so that's all I do all day. Alright, so spin and switch now coming in from Dimmu. When he's now running out of food. Is it time? There we go. Yeah, I was about to say, I think that's why you're like switching spears. You're trying to be more lean because you know you're going to be defensive. Meanwhile, in the Legion of Doom, Beasty still posturing aggressively. He has got an arbitrary switch coming in fast and early here, actually. Really interesting because you have raw bloodlines and then you could even go crossbow stirrups afterwards. The only counter to arbs is literally mangoes. That's not true at all, okay? You can counter arbitrary with arbitrary. You're close though, okay? You got 50% of counters. Yeah, the counter to arbitrary is more arbitrary. Oh, actually no, I'll tell you the third counter after this fight. Clash coming in. The Harbors just stand their ground. They do not have Gambesons. Rejuvenation is going to be there. Need to be careful, though, with Jean. There's 28 crossbowmen in here. Beasty, an ambitious dive through. Does draw a lot of arrow fire. Stays alive with the lady. Starting to look a little bit outnumbered. A lot of knights going down for this, even with the Royal Bloodlines. Lances have been cleared, though, and I'm quite impressed by that. It does feel like Dumu should be able to stabilize after this fight, but both of them had to expend a lot. The difference, however, is that Beasty still doesn't have a farm transition underway. Dumu is 2/3 done. All right, is it time for me to reveal the third counter to Mass Arbitrary? Yeah, so the third counter, and like, I'm sorry, but you're a noob for not getting this. I mean, it's so obvious. The third counter to Mass Arbitrary is your opponent's keyboard's delete key being broken. Like, it being jammed. So when he selects them, they just all get deleted. And yeah, those are the 3 counters to Arbitrary. You're welcome. Knight's gonna find the boar, but that's pretty much done. So yeah, there's nothing to tap here. He'll be back in the base before long. Dumi goes Yuan and places Pagoda north of TC. I've already seen this game. Wow, look at you. If you just predict the future. Because the only other possibility is that you're spoiling the results, and that would be a bad word of defense. Okay is like a fetishist for China. If China ever needed someone to like Taurus, like stamp of approval their existence, okay would be that guy. Has Dumi been using the scout, by the way? Yes, it's on cooldown. I like that. So he knows exactly where Jean economy is. Like, that's very important. And I love that Beasty's reaction was to wall this in early. Just to make sure that, like, if that raid came by, it wasn't just going to jump him out of nowhere before he could react. Maybe his micro is good enough that you can select ARBs, do an attack command, and switch before the delete. No. Okay, you should know this, Gully. When you play late game Arbitrary, this is how you micro late game Arbitrary. You just have them selected at all times, and you click, 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 click. You never move off your Arbitrary. Why would you need to? That's foolish. You've got Arbitrary. Okay, are we overselling Arbitrary at this point? Have we all forgotten that Knights Templar crossbows? Brannick wins, guys. Beast drop, definitely easy to execute sometimes. Knights are just going to bludgeon the fight. Jean just keeps sneaking in, which is drawing a lot of fire. Dumu's full farmed up, though. Like, for Beasty, this is pretty tough now. I get what he's trying to do with the brute forcing. I think he's just leaning towards that level 4 Jean. Really not that far off now. Arbors have ran out of Pavis, though. Jean once again drawing fire. Beasty's just doing a great job of this. He's wasting so much of his opponent's time, but sadly, for this effort, there is a second wave that we were waiting for to show up, and now it's here. Beasty has to retreat. So you're going to have level 4 Jean. You are not going to have much food, though. Yeah, you'd think after the subathon, he could at least buy all of his people a pizza each, but right now, he has only got 7 farms. That's enough to, like, bake maybe 2 pizzas. It's not going to be impressive. And remember, this is not a guild hall game, so he doesn't have that gotcha moment where you just go Red Palace. Dumu, however, his gotcha is going to be into the Yuan, so we have now got him going into pagodas. Level 4 Jean unit buff should be able to make a super villager. I mean, I'm kind of shocked you can't, to be honest. They just, like, get all the extra health, they get a bigger hammer, they build faster. Guys, if buffing a Jean villager, like you do a unit, had the same effect on stats, you would have the build speed of a Chinese villager. Seems reasonable to me. 1 whole Chinese villager of build speed. Speaking of that build speed, we're rushing into 2 TC. At 86 eco, with 71 military. I mean, he's stonewalling. It's not like Dumu's doing this in a very greedy fashion. It is greedy. It's insanely greedy. But he's being respectful of the fact that his farms are being done. Guys, I thought these type of walls didn't happen on Gorge anymore. We're 26 minutes. And what's all the stone? Is Beasty going to go for keep drops in the enemy base? Stone's kind of weird for Jean, right? Because, like, you don't get discounts like French do. We do, however, have pre-30-minute Jean de Blast. Yeah, so cannon spawn now. You have a way of knocking down the walls, buildings as well. Crossbow Master's getting pretty big for Dimmu. And we do have a switch now coming to Nesta Bees. That's really important, actually, because the cannon does 60 damage. Clock Tower Nesta Bees can take quite a few hits to the face. It's going to take 3 to kill them. Yeah, pretty big detail there. Normally, a Nesta Bees would be a 2-hit killer. But because he got that Clock Tower in, it makes it much, much harder for these to clear fast enough. Only 700 food income a minute. It is kind of wild that BC hasn't just been rolled yet. You know? Like, with this type of eco, you'd expect the Chinese to just start surging out of the base like no other. But, you know, you're China. Why would you do that when you could just build 2 TC and build more farms? Nobody gets more farm than China. China is number 1. All right, 1s if you think Dimmu's going to win this. 2s if you think the Beast is going to take it. I like how he just keeps testing the Holy Wrath button. It's a calibration shot. Do you ever think about how epic it is that when she cleaves, she shoots her gun? So it's almost like she's just doing full-on kung fu gun combat, where she's just spinning it around, shooting shots everywhere. And oh no. Where did this come from? Red Palace now. Wait, oh, sorry, it's Keep. I'm an idiot. Keep on the... I was about to say, I was like, where's the bar? Did it bug? So we got Keep Drop and then secondary Keep Drop, right? But the Great Wall Gatehouse is actually well placed by Dimmu. So we got Poor Man's Red Palace Drop. Because food is pretty expensive right now. He's eventually getting there. The farm count is now at 36. It's becoming more and more realistic. His timing is definitely going to be notably worse than Dimmu's, though. Dimmu, who also has got a 50 pop lead. It's one landmark down, but as we know, with China, it's never that simple. There's always another landmark, and another landmark, and another landmark. I'll dive on the TC as well. We just had the tech up. So does this light a fire underneath his butt, or does he just play catch up? We've got Gambesons as well. I believe, no, he did not get crossbow stirrups. A little bit surprised by that, considering he's been floating like 15 to 20 arbitrary consistently. The second Keep Drop is going to come in on the pagodas. Wait, where's the other one? Okay, he's at least going to keep 1 relic. Could you snatch this? Cannon plus double keep should be quite hard. Dimmu needs his own bombards. That's going to take a bit of time, though. Nesta B shot's going to be coming in. And Varus Inspiration has not been used yet by Beasty. No, he's holding on to it. Finally activates and now charges in. And remember, you reduce the damage you take even more with level 4. Look at it right here. You take 60% less damage from ranged attacks. So it's pretty smart to just use her front lining like this. It absorbs quite a few blows, but the Nesta Bees seems destined to win this one out for Dimmu. Elite upgrade on crossbow is also just too good. So kind of surprised that Beasty took a fight that reasonable with just a vet army. But the inevitable outcome, right? And now he is going to follow suit. We're going to get him going into Red Palace. He's looking to gather stone for another keep. Remember, when he gets Red Palace, all of these existing castles will get Arbalest emplacements, which can slowly siege down buildings. Yeah, for now, it's just going to be the bow shots. And he is knocking at those pagodas. He has got villagers nearby. Like, technically, he could have monasteryed and just tried to pick them up. I don't think, like, Beasty's in a position where he can try for these, like, cheesy shenanigan plays. Like, not cheesy, but, you know, these side giggles of let's get a relic here or there. It'd be nice, but when you're this far down on economy and military, oh, mainly military, you just want to focus on the catch-up. Not to mention, you just triggered Imperial Age, which means you've got a lot of other things that are going to cost gold that are arguably a lot more important than getting 80 gold income a minute. E18 now coming in as well. So Spivin a lot more tanky. Should give him the dive to just get this kill. And the Arbalest emplacement just came in. So yeah, this is where you just want to commit the torches. finish it off before he can just do something with it. In and out is not the way, so we'll be able to clear both castles. Really expensive for Beasty, but this game has been odd, right? Like, very, very odd to what we'd be used to seeing normally. I mean, according to okay, it was GG like 10 minutes ago, right? But like the way that Beasty has somehow reached up twice now has kind of shocked me. Feels like the best way to describe this game is like always behind but never dead. You know, there's never been this moment where Dimu's been able to be like, aha, gotcha, now I kill you. There is a good timing coming though. Pyrotechnics has already been prepped for the hand cannoneers. They've got pretty damn good range on these things. 5.5 tower range. They actually outrange Arbors unless you Pavis drop. This is where the crossbow stirrups plus Jean's attack speed aura comes in clutch though. It allows you to kind of hold your own actually against hand cannoneers. Feels like Dimu's respecting Beasty a bit too much. No, you're thinking about this the wrong way. Ultimate content. I've got a game against Beasty. People are going to love this. I mean, it's true all around, isn't it? Horseman now massing. Into spears. And he needs some reliable answer against the hand cannoneers. I guess it's a bit tricky to trust Golden and Arbitrary. And he does at least have the food now to allow for this. He's going to use the Varus Inspiration. It's only buffing half of the range formation, though, which is a little bit rough. Yeah, not getting as much firepower as he'd like. But he is at least absorbing a lot of the shots. Cannon now moving in. The clock tower nature of these siege weapons makes them very hard to bring down, though. Jean should be able to clean up, but it looks like it's once again going to be a wipe on both sides. I say that. Jean is not actually absorbing as much as I would have expected there. Arbors will win out, courtesy of the crossbow stirrups. The hand cannoneers versus Expos at the end. It should be good for Dimu. The problem is the focus fire is still good enough. Yes, the crossbows are taken out one by one. Pavis drop's going to come in again. He's got the second wave arriving. Jean with the buyback is going to come in big, and Beasty will be able to shove this away. Absolutely necessary there, but so expensive. 1,000 gold thrown in to the donation pot to get Jean back online. Yep, this game is teaching us very odd things. If you donate enough money to the church, they can resurrect your loved ones. I think that's the lesson, and that shouldn't be the lesson. Wait, did these villagers never go? They came, they dropped 2 castles, and then they sat here all this time eating the 4K vein. Which Dimu would only know if he looked at the vein and saw it being depleted. Oh, he just got the extra vision. Wait, how did he get the extra vision? Oh, no, he triggered the Imperial Palace, so now he knows. I was so confused for a second there. Dimu is now going to be steering that way. Good timing as well to discover that Beasty has been stonewalling as well. Not as much as Dimu, mind you. He's full stonewalled his base. Yeah, I didn't even expect it. That stonewall in the east sure is one thing, but when I look at the minimap at this stage, I'm like, yeah, those are just wood walls. Usually when we see stone walls, it's more kind of central bound on both flanks. Military Academy also now coming in. So I think this is just all about the Horseman Vomit, which is now being mirrored by the Chinese. Not as good as Jean, courtesy of the biology versus raw bloodlines. But the whole idea here is just going to be to create like an insulation for your hand cannoneers. Actually, whoa, it's going to work out very well if that's the transition. Horsemen with archers coming. Arbitrary would have held their own a little bit better with Gamsons, but would have still been counterplayed. So I think he just wanted to get something that has maybe a better opportunity to clear the spearmen and also kite the hand cannoneers. Not really seeing much kite here. No, instead it's going to be raw brute force. Dimu gets on top of his arbors. The horseman came in way too late. Second wave arriving. Beasty. Kind of in shaky territory, actually. The arbitrary mass has been lost. The archer hasn't reached quantity. The horseman barely exists. Dimu's got him by the long curlies right now. Yeah, Benny Boy's going to keep on pushing. 29 hand cannoneers and scaling. just that litter of horsemen to make it even more frustrating to try and figure out for Beasty on the defense. He has at least got the TCs, the Arbalest placements to slow things down a little bit here. But Dimu, he's got a cannon on the way and one already arriving. And behind this, 3,000 food, not to mention the passive gold on top of the taxation gold and the active gold gathering. Like, he's not going to run out. No, he has a timing here. He was thinking about Fire Lancers. I'm glad that was a misclick. I don't think those would have performed like he was looking for. But definitely has the capacity to take out this TC. It's going to force Beasty to defend. Virus Inspiration is coming off cooldown. John's taking a lot of hits from the hand cannoneers right now. Horsemen are going to leak in, but nowhere near enough. No, he's keeping some back to protect his own backline because the horsemen were waiting to do this. Dimu about to bring down that TC, about to bring down the Imperial French army. John barely holding on. The horsemen are going to make a break for it again. Just a few spearmen are there to body block them out. The hand cannoneer DPS, that should be good enough. Now Dimu only has to contest against archers. Archers which never got their hands on silk bowstrings. They don't outrange here. Jean dead. Buyback should be there. But even if it is, there's no army left to buff, to assist. And GG is gonna get called. Dimu with his classic Chinese, able to pull on through in that late game. But make no mistake about it, this was a weird one time and time again. What do you think, guys? Did you feel like Beasty was doing something weird but achievable, or did it always look like China was in control? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next chapter.